Okay, first thing on the list.
Is this not appropriate for ski touring?
It depends on if there's off-widths where you're going ski touring.
All right, serious. This is serious packing business. Anyways, this is probably the most requested video that I've gotten on this channel, is to make a video about what I pack to go ski touring. I'm gonna split this into 2 videos. So this is what I pack ski touring. This is essentially what I would bring if I was gonna go ski Left Gully tomorrow. This is not for what I bring ski mountaineering. If I'm gonna do some like super hyper technical line that requires all sorts of ropes and doodle dads and bingle bops, those are in a different video. If you came for that, don't go to this video. If you really just wanna know what's in my backpack when I go skiing, you came to the right place. The big walling packing video was an editing nightmare. So I'm gonna try and keep this a little more concise, and I actually laid everything out for this video beforehand. And I have it in 2 piles, so this is kind of a standard always pile, and then this is kind of a maybe you might want this, but this is an optional pile. But we're gonna go over everything in the video. So first things first, it'd be really hard to go ski touring without skis. This is right where I'm gonna start to deviate from the traditional school of thought on ski touring, because I have a lot of thoughts about people's terrible takes on the ways to enjoy the mountains. These are Elan ripsticks. This is not the most ultra light ski that you could ever bring, but I'm somebody who became an uphill athlete because of how much I love being a downhill athlete. And I really don't want to sacrifice performance for the sake of moving fast uphill. So you'll find out a lot through this video. I am not a subscriber to the ultralight mindset. I own a lot of ultralight equipment, but I feel like if you're gonna cut corners, the place not to do it is skis. So the ripsticks, I really like the downhill performance on these. I do have a lighter touring binding on these. This is the ATK Free Raider. I like these a lot for pretty much any skiing that I've done. I brought these to Baffin. I bring them out to go ski powder in my backyard. They're kind of my all-around workhorse. Again, I'm not an ultralight believer. These Nordica Striders are a really good boot. I like to have something that's closer to a resort boot than it is to like a ski-mo ultra running type of thing. My poles, I don't even know what these are called, but I thought I'd include this because I like how they have this long handle, so for steeper lines I can adjust my grip. And when I'm going uphill, sometimes I find that my poles are maybe a little taller than I want them to be, so I can adjust my grip on them without feeling like I have to adjust the pole if I'm just doing something for a moment, like a dicey kick turn or something, you know? Here, this is my backpack that I use for pretty much all ski touring, pretty much all everything. My helmet carrier is currently falling apart on it, so ignore that. But yeah, this is the Black Diamond Cirque backpack. I think this is the best backpack in the world. Oh my god, get out of here. No. Yeah, Black Diamond Cirque bag. You're gonna find out if you watch the ski mountaineering video that'll be coming later, if you're watching this in the near future, why I think this is the greatest backpack in the world. Now let's kind of get to what's going to be in the backpack as opposed to being worn on my body. So in the backpack, I have my probe and my shovel tucked away in a separate pocket in the actual Cirque bag. It has this little buckle in here. So I like to have my Avalanche gear in a separate pocket so I'm not digging through gloves and shells and snacks while there's actively an avalanche situation going on. I wear this on my body. I don't wear it in a pants pocket. I use a harness for it. I don't own the pants that are manufactured to have a beacon in your pocket, so I like to be safe and I wear it on my body. First aid kit. This is not a wilderness first aid video, so I'm not going to get into a ton of what I keep in my first aid kit, but generally just some stuff to deal with injuries that you would expect on a ski tour that you feel like you could actually manage for the time being with a first aid kit. Having some repair supplies in there might also be a good measure, but this generally goes at the bottom of my backpack because on your best ski tours, you shouldn't be touching it. Also, generally close to the bottom of my backpack, I will keep my pair of crampons. These tend to not come out until later in the day, and the Cirque bag has this nice little side zip. I keep those kind of right here where I'm frequently getting at my water and my snacks. I'm not interfering with them, but when I'm ready for them to come out, they can just come out of the side zip. And for a standard ski tour where I'm expecting to maybe have to do a little bit of boot packing, I use these Petzl, I think they're called the Irvis. It's a hybrid crampon that has an aluminum backplate, a steel front point, and it has just this nylon holding it together. And I do keep them in a stuff sack. I am pro stuff sack. If you go to the Tetons, you'll get shamed for this, and people will tell you that grams equal kilograms. But I don't like the alternative, which is that spikes equal holes in my thin backpack material. So, little extra weight, I bring a sack. A bigger puffy. This is a nice thing to put on at the top when you're transitioning, if you're in a windy spot. Generally, this isn't so deep in my backpack that I can't reach it, but I'm not wearing it through most of the day. I'm not putting it on frequently. I'm just putting it on if I'm standing around for a while and anticipate being cold. So, puffy. Shell. Your shell is probably the layer that I feel like you're going to use the most. I frequently ski in my shell just to keep the elements off of my body, but especially if you're here in New England where you're not really doing kind of low angle cruise or floaty pow turns, skiing here can be quite athletic sometimes. There's trees, rocks, it's quite cardiovascular. So if I'm skiing in a puffy, I'm usually getting very hot. So this is kind of in the next tier of my backpack where it's most accessible. Water. I bring 2 liters of water at a minimum. Sometimes I bring 4 if I'm anticipating doing a monster day. We don't have a lot of places where we can reliably refill water. And everyone who's ever shamed me for bringing too much water on my ski tours tends to ask me for water about 3.5 hours later because they're out. So listen to your body. You're going to know what's best for you. The ratio between I'm carrying too much water and this is heavy and it's actually making me do more work versus I'm getting dehydrated and I'm thirsty. And obviously, going into the spring where it's hotter, you're going to sweat more and you're going to use more water than you would in midwinter. I frequently find in January, I don't finish all my water. I frequently find in May, I'm putting snow in my water bottles to keep the amount that I have alive. And I like to have an insulated sleeve for my water bottles to go in. This one's from 40 Below. It's pretty bare bones. It's just a stitched thing of neoprene, kind of held together with this little thing in the back with a little bit of Velcro stitched onto it. But it will keep your water warm. So 40 Below is an awesome company to support if you want to insulate your bottles. For snacks, I keep them in a little stuff sack. You want really calorically dense foods that are going to nourish you and give you energy. Carbs and sugar are your friend. If you're out in the regular world, you probably avoid them like the plague. In the backcountry, they're great. Kate's Real Food is an awesome brand that I find actually feeds me the best out of all of the bars that I've tried. Kate's is awesome for your backcountry snackage. Somewhere in my backpack, this thing usually floats around, generally near the bottom. This is a Garmin InReach. On my ski touring, that's just day tours. I tend not to use this at all. Oftentimes I have cell service, so it's just there in case of an emergency. If I'm doing a bigger backcountry trip that's multi-day, I might use this to get in touch with people outside the field, just to, you know, stave off the lonelies, or just let people know that I'm doing all right out there, you know, hear what world events I missed, if that's something I want to know. So this thing gets varying levels of use. Booklet. This is where I keep my field book for tour planning and for avalanche observation, and also some supplies like this pit cutting cord and like a thermometer, crystal card, some like various snow science supplies. Sunglasses, pretty self-explanatory. The sun is bright, it reflects off the snow, don't burn your eyes. And I also keep these in a protective case because I don't want them to break. Skins, these will be going on my skis at the beginning of the day, but frequently when I'm packing my bag the night before, I'll just put them in the very top of my backpack, so I don't accidentally leave them in the house or something, because that's a kind of a bummer of a way to start your day. Helmet and goggles. I tend to have a beefier ski helmet. Again, another weight-saving thing. This has these nice earmuffs on the side that keep my head warmer. It's a little bit burlier. It's not one of these like single impact foam climbing helmet. Gloves. Believe it or not, I think the best pair of gloves in the world are these $24 gloves from Amazon that are actually designed for fishing. But they have great dexterity. They have insulation on the inside and they're grippy on the outside. So I frequently wear these on the way up, or if I'm really hot, they're just sitting on top of my poles. Whether or not I want a warmer glove, that depends on the kind of day I'm having, but I frequently have a warmer glove in my backpack. And we're gonna move to the optional pile. Now, these are things that you may decide based on a tour to bring with you or not bring with you. Ski crampons. This is kind of the hot button topic of the ski touring world, I feel like. These can be a godsend on a slippery skin track. I know lots of people who say every time the ski crampons are in my backpack, they never come out of my backpack. If that's you, I'm happy for you. I frequently find every time they're not in my backpack, I want them. So I'm a ski crampon believer, but you may choose whether or not you want to include those. And ice axe. There's a lot of thoughts on whether or not these are actually going to be any use to you if you get into an uncontrolled sliding fall. I have self-arrested with an ice axe in a real situation before. I did it almost instantaneously and it did work. So ice axes, I'm an ice axe believer. Whether or not the terrain is going to call for it is kind of up to you. I find if I'm doing anything that's like 30 degrees or less and boot packing, I'm pretty comfortable with just ski poles and my skis A-framed and crampons on my feet. Whenever I feel like it gets steep enough that my hands are touching the slope, I like the extra security of an ice axe. This is the Ice Rock Idol. It's 188 grams. The thing is like a baby toy. You feel like you can break it in half, but it's actually quite strong. I don't know if you can get these anymore. They're Russian, and Russia has decided to make some interesting decisions in the last couple of years. So whether or not that's still a thing you can buy, I don't know, but I love it. Rescue sled. Some people might argue to have this in your backpack all the time. I put it in the it depends pile because if you've ever done practice with dragging somebody out with a rescue sled, if you have less than 4 people in your crew, you're probably not dragging somebody very far in a rescue sled. So if I'm just touring with like 1 or 2 other people, sometimes I choose not to have this in my backpack because it might not actually do us any good in a dire situation. A snow saw. This depends on if I plan on doing extensive snow science. If you're in Colorado, this is probably in your backpack all the time. Here in the Northeast, I frequently find our primary avalanche problem is the newest layer of wind slab that's on top of the snow. So I'm not really digging unless I plan on practicing that or I'm just curious. Really warm, puffy, and really warm gloves or puffy pants, which I don't have on me. They take up a lot of space in the backpack. But when it's really, really cold out, or if I'm going really, really far out, I frequently have these in the backpack. And lastly, the number 7 Tricam. So when you get to the top of the line and there's somebody else about to snake you, you can scare them away and you can get the fresh tracks. Oh my God, did I just hit the ceiling?
Yes.
Oh, nobody saw that. Please don't direct message my family. That's the packing video. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that this blows up because it's been requested so much, and I'm happy to provide you the video you have asked for the most. Please hit the like and subscribe button in exchange for me giving you the thing that you wanted most. Peace.